From dream to reality, the story of Martin Luther King Jr. Once upon a time, in a small town in Atlanta, Georgia, there was a boy named Martin Luther King Jr. Born on January 15th, 1929, Martin was the second child of Martin Luther King Sr., a pastor, and Alberta Williams King, a school teacher. From a young age, Martin was deeply influenced by his father's preaching and his mother's teachings. He grew up in a loving family, surrounded by the teachings of Christianity and the importance of education. As Martin grew older, he noticed something troubling in his town. People were treated differently because of the color of their skin. Black people like Martin and his family were not allowed to go to the same schools, use the same bathrooms, or even sit in the same seat on the bus as white people. This unfair treatment, known as segregation, deeply hurt young Martin, and he began to wonder why the world was so unfair. Before we dive back into the story, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to me, and I truly appreciate it. Please, if you've already done so, thank you very much. Now, let's continue with the story. Martin's parents taught him to stand up for what was right and to love everyone, no matter how they treated him. This lesson stayed with Martin throughout his life. He studied hard in school, excelling in his classes and showing a special talent for speaking. By the time he was a teenager, Martin knew he wanted to help change the world and make it a better place for everyone. In 1944, Martin graduated from high school and went on to attend Morehouse College in Atlanta, where he studied sociology. He was inspired by the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, who believed in nonviolent resistance to fight against injustice. Martin learned that it was possible to fight for change without using violence, and this idea became the cornerstone of his future work. After graduating from Morehouse, Martin continued his education at Crosser Theological Seminary and later at Boston University, where he earned a doctorate in theology. It was during this time in Boston that Martin met and married Coretta Scott, a talented musician and dedicated civil rights activist. Together, they formed a powerful partnership committed to fighting for the rights of Black people and all those who were oppressed. In 1955, Martin's journey as a civil rights leader began in earnest. A brave woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, sparking the Montgomery bus boycott. Martin was chosen to lead the boycott, and for over a year, Black people in Montgomery refused to ride the buses. Despite threats and violence, they remained steadfast, and eventually the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional. This victory made Martin Luther King Jr. a national figure and a symbol of the growing civil rights movement. He continued to lead peaceful protests and give powerful speeches, calling for equality and justice for all people, regardless of their race. His most famous speech, "I Have a Dream," delivered during the March on Washington in 1963, inspired millions of people with his vision of a world where people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. However, Martin's fight for justice was not easy. He faced many challenges, including arrest, threats, and even attempts on his life. But Martin never gave up. He believed in the power of love and nonviolence, and he continued to lead the fight for civil rights until his untimely death on April 4th, 1968, when he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. Though Martin Luther King Jr. is no longer with us, his legacy lives on. His life teaches us the importance of standing up for what is right, even when it is difficult. It reminds us that change can be achieved through peaceful means, and that love is more powerful than hate. Martin's dream of equality and justice for all people continues to inspire generations to work towards a better, more just world. Quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. The time is always right to do what is right. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. True peace is not merely the absence of tension. It is the presence of justice. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. A riot is the language of the unheard. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Vocabulary lists. Segregation, the separation or isolation of a race, class, or group of people. Injustice, the absence of justice, unfair treatment. Nonviolent resistance, a method of protest or fighting against something that does not involve physical force or violence. Theology, the study of religious beliefs and God. Civil rights, the rights of citizens to political and social freedom and equality. Oppressed, subjected to harsh and authoritarian treatment. Boycott, to refuse to buy, use, or participate in something as a way of protesting. Unconstitutional, not allowed by the constitution of a country or government. Legacy, something that is handed down or remains from a previous generation or time. Thank you for listening to the story of Martin Luther King Jr. What did you learn from this story? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you have a story of your own or know someone who has made a difference in their community, we would love to hear it. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that will help you learn English.